I want you to open up for me. Becca, DJ Khaled. Are you ready? The other day when you was just playing around with the loop and you was singing and you was just, I could tell that you was just playing around. I seen something. I heard something. Then I felt something. It's time to go to the next level. I'm DJ Khaled, AKA Billy. I know these things.
Does he talk like this? I don't know DJ Khaled. Does he talk like that? This third film's a ride. If you haven't seen my first two videos on Pitch Perfect 1 and 2, go watch them. At this point, there's no excuse not to. For those of you who've seen the first two films and really need something to scratch that pitch, let's see if the third film can do that for you. We rejoin the Bellas off the coast of France. They seem to be on a boat performing Britney Spears' Toxic. And if you've never really listened in on the backing vocals, this is a great example of how creative acapella singers can be, with them imitating the synth strings going fum fum diddle dum. Fat Amy drops down from the upper deck of the yacht. Somehow the film turns into an action flick. After Becca and Amy escape certain death, we rewind 3 weeks earlier, where John and Gail are stalking Becca for a documentary they're working on. Geez, they keep finding new jobs for them. Guess the podcast didn't work out. Becca is now a producer, but she finds a job unfulfilling when her clients don't like her mixes and prefer theirs. And that's a sad reality in any creative industry where people choose an objectively inferior product because sometimes they may not know any better. That's kind of the whole point of being a producer, unfortunately. Decisions are being made over Becca's head. Becca returns home and tells Fat Amy she finally did it. Amy asks if she got back together with Jesse. Becca says no and that she quit her job. Unfortunately, there are no troublemakers in this film.
8 bros chilling in the hot tub cause they're
no Jesse, no Bumper, no Ben fucking Platt. Excuse me. Chloe comes home too, wearing the classic Bellows uniform from the first film. They all live in the same studio. How's that for a realistic depiction of New York real estate? Apparently, there's a Bellows reunion. Later, at said reunion, the former Bellas reunite and they meet up with Emily, who brings with her the current roster of Bellas.
So what do you want us to sing tonight? Who Run the World, some Bulletproof. I brought this just in case.
They tell them that they were invited to watch, not sing. Emily remarks that they have been so busy with their awesome jobs and awesome lives.
Papaya Players Delight? Hey, baby.
Mayday! We're going down!
Whoa! I hate my life.
You broke my hand and you didn't even seem sorry. That broken hand was the best thing that ever happened to you.
The current Bellas sing Sit Still Look Pretty, and it's an alright performance.
I don't know what you've been told, but this guy right here's gonna rule the world. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna be. Because I wanna do it. No, I don't wanna sit still look pretty.
I personally liked it, but I do notice something different with the sound mixing in this film compared to the first two. Some songs are better than others, but the harmonies are really hard to pick out here, and random musical flourishes that should be in the background are brought out. And at times, the beatboxing even feels too fake. My guess is it was probably quantized on top of being improperly mixed. Such a shame. And I came to this film for acapella, which is such an acoustic medium outside of mics. The old Bellas toast to being past their expiration date.
milk has an expiration date. We should do that with the elderly.
Aubry has an idea.
Okay, I've mentioned that my dad is in the army and basically killed Osama bin Laden, right?
Some new information in that sentence, but okay.
Every year the USO puts on this performance to entertain and support the troops.
Oh, there's the focus of the film, everyone. The Bellas are all on board with the exception of Stacy, who's 8 months preggers. But I don't know, that didn't stop Beyonce. The Bellas perform at the USO. DJ Khaled's hosting it too. That's important, I guess. The group arrive at a military base, being followed by John and Gail. It's nice to see them actually have interaction with the Bellas. By the way, they're no longer the Barden Bellas anymore. It's just the Bellas now. They meet the other groups performing, and they have instruments.
From Calamity, this is Serenity, Veracity, and Charity.
If I joined your group, I could be Obesity. Hi, I'm Lois.
I'm Fisty. That's Stabby and that's Balls. Pull up a chair, we're playing cards.
They do a sound check, but it ends up turning into an impromptu riff-off when friction happens between the Bellas and another band, Evermoist, whose lead singer is totally not Batwoman. There are two other bands, but they barely factor into the film's plot. A country band and a hip-hop band. Just like the two other a cappella groups in the first film. What a throwback.
Oh, if you're wondering, our presence here has nothing to do with the nationally televised Salute to the Troops special where DJ Khaled is going to pick one group to open for him at the end of this tour.
That was a lot of exposition.
Oh, that's where DJ Khaled fits in. The rules of the riff-off revert to the first film where they have to match the last word with the first. A step down in my opinion, as I thought the second film was more creative. Anyway, the Bellas do a demonstration round. Category, party songs. Lily begins by beatboxing before Flo and Amy begin singing Pink's Get This Party Started.
I'm coming up, so you better get this party started.
Aubry pulls out Shut Up and Dance, and Becca follows up with Ignition. Fat Amy belts out a Let Me Ride, and I don't know about this one. It's meant to be funny, but she holds out the note, and I feel like it only makes the Bellas look bad. Maybe the directors wanted their own hubris to be their downfall here, I don't know. The Bellas then start an actual round. Artists you didn't know were Jewish. Evermoist join, and they all know how to sing and beatbox. Okay, that's understandable for the lead singer and the drummer, but I don't know, this feels like a stretch. It was enough suspending my disbelief for real singers, but instrumentalists, come on.
I want to get away.
Yeah, we'll get away then.
Maybe all the members of Evermoist happen to be trained singers, but the rest of the groups also join in and they all happen to sing? Totally unlikely. The country group joins in with Maroon 5's One More Night, but Evermoist joins them and starts using drumsticks and adding more instruments. The hip-hop group joins in as well with Call Me by Blondie. In spite of the other three groups ganging up on the Bellas, Chloe comes in with Ariana Grande's Love Me Harder.
Love me harder. Okay. And if you really need me, you gotta love me harder.
In a hilarious moment, a group of soldiers spontaneously jump in with Beyonce's If I Were a Boy, to which Aubry notes that Beyonce is not even Jewish. I'm willing to buy this gag here because unlike the other musicians, it's meant to be a joke. While this is technically more of a stretch, it's at least outlandish and funny. The Bellas call out the last category, Zombie Apocalypse. Evermoist starts appropriately with Zombie. They start adding more instruments as the other groups jump in, and probably my favorite part of this riff-off is Becca last minute pulling out Human. Clever song choice because it alludes to how acapella is just them, just their voices, no instruments. Only human. Fitting coming from Becca as well, showing her growth from the first film of thinking acapella was lame. The Bellas walk away declaring victory, claiming that the other groups disqualified themselves for using their instruments.
Here's the problem, John. The Bellas are not as good as the other bands.
That is a startling insight.
The Bellas explore Europe, only to be watched from afar by John Lithgow. Okay. They arrive at their hotel, only for Fat Amy to find a stuffed rabbit on her bed. She has a flashback to when she was a toddler, and it turns out John Lithgow was her dad. Amy runs out of the window and catches a glimpse of her dad walking away. Cut to their first performance night, where Becca meets a music executive named Theo, who works under DJ Khaled. This is her love interest for this film. You're not Jesse. The Bellas sing and perform See as Cheap Thrills. This is one of the few songs that are mixed okay. Still could be better. It sounds like a studio recording with reverb added, not a stage performance. Their performance gets interrupted by taps.
Oh! Salute, we have to salute. Stand at attention, this is taps.
Afterwards, Becca asks if they should consider instruments. They go out to a casino. Amy runs into her dad, whom she's trying to avoid due to him being a drug dealer. That's a twist. The rest of the girls follow Theo, the love interest dude. They take him up to DJ Khaled's penthouse, where Theo takes Becca to a mixing booth. Meanwhile, Amy and her dad make up. As that happens, shenanigans ensue. The next day, the Bellas get some heat from Evermoist, and Amy tells the others about her dad. Despite explaining he wasn't a good person in the past, they encourage her to give him another chance. The Bellas receive a call from Stacy.
Guys, I had the baby.
What?
I named her Bella.
See, that's perfect.
I love you guys.
They fly to Italy, and we immediately jump to a montage set to I Don't Like It, I Love It. What's my opinion on this? I don't like it. I love it.
I love it, and the other girls, they can't touch you. Competition, that's a whole
Yeah, I already know YouTube's gonna hate me for this video.
Fuck you!
While I think the audio mixing in this film is so much poorer, it does work better for rap than with more harmonized vocal lines, and this song has a lot of rap. Also, Jessica's high note, let's go. It's also a good way to show that the Bellas can perform professionally, and also have some performances where they go with the flow. Not every one of them has to be some sort of failure. Later, Becca meets DJ Khaled. I'm not a rap person or anything, not really my jam, not my lady jam. I know next to nothing about this guy. Actually, I do know he doesn't go down on his...
Oh, good, the fun part.
Anyway, he offers Becca a spot. I've honestly lost what they were trying to achieve, but he only wants Becca and not the rest of the Bellas. Theo and DJ Khaled want Becca to sign onto their record label as a solo act. Becca is against this. She's had 2 films worth of coming around to the Bellas. She ain't undoing that in this one. Amy and her dad meet up, only for him to reveal that he didn't actually watch her performance, angering her. Turns out her dad is after her money that her mother set aside in the Cayman Islands. We're still watching an acapella movie, right? The other Bellas are picked up to get to the next venue, or at least that's what they think. They get kidnapped.
How could you?
Becca and Amy are the only ones left. Amy has a phone call with her dad, Liam Neeson style.
Your nightmare blood, it runs through my veins.
Hey, Amy, I need to talk to you about something that's kind of important.
Hey, just a sec, I'm on a call.
Okay.
Becca and Amy go to rescue them. The film turns a 180. It's weird. Becca sneaks up onto the boat and joins the other Bellas. She suggests that they sing one more song together, though really it's to distract Amy's father. This is where we started the movie. The following scene cuts back and forth between their performance of Britney Spears' Toxic and Amy performing some okay stunts. It just all feels super shoehorned. I came to watch Pitch Perfect, not the Great Value version of Mission Impossible. Somehow, Fat Amy rigs a toaster to self-destruct, and she drops down, allowing the Bellas to escape. Anywho, the police rescue them and all that mess is wrapped up. Oh shit, the film's almost over. They gotta wrap up the character moments. Becca shares that she got picked by DJ Khaled, and obviously the Beccas are supportive. Did I say Beccas? It still fits. They each go around and say how they've grown individually.
Kind of feel like I've been saying something to that effect the entire...
Oh my god, Emily! Smart people are talking right now.
They all share and cheer for each other when...
Cool beans. You talk? Satan has finally left my body.
I have many questions.
Hi, I'm Esther.
It's not like you did that in the first film. They all hug. It's final performance time, and... Sorry, it just doesn't feel right that this was run like a competition. It's the USO tour. They're performing for the troops. Feels like a waste to only have one winner and one performance. Becca steps onto the stage and performs George Michael's Freedom. First as a solo, but she calls the rest of the Bellas to the stage. It's an alright performance, I guess. I feel like it undermines the Bellas pushing Becca out of the nest literally minutes ago. And that's on top of undermining the first 2 films. I don't know, it just doesn't feel really earned. Now the film tries to conclude the last few loose threads with what little time it has left, and it has to do them during the credits. Aubry reunites with her dad. That was a thing throughout the film. Lily hooks up with one of the hip-hop dudes. That was a thing throughout the film. Chloe gets together with one of the soldiers. That was a thing throughout the film. I wasn't going to mention anything extra, but there's a deleted scene where Becca witnesses this and steals Chloe away from him to show how to really kiss her. Bet Chloe fans rejoice. The scene was filmed and leaked, but the studio didn't want to add it in. For shame, depriving the people of this. The film ends. This was easily the worst entry. It had a few moments, but it felt like a cash grab. In fact, I remembered it being marketed to come out around Christmas. Why pump out a movie like this to come out around that time when it has nothing to do with the season? The first 2 films felt like music first before comedy. This one felt like comedy first before music. Let's wrap it up. The first Pitch Perfect is a great example of the competitive process, and the infighting between the characters only made their eventual coming together more meaningful. The second expanded on that, with them taking their changes from the first film too far and having to dial it back, as well as facing an uncertain future with graduation and moving on. The third doesn't really have an overall message or arc. They get back together, perform for old time's sake. Or maybe it was about Becca needing to go do her own thing, which kinda steps on the second film. There was just no impact with Pitch Perfect 3. Let's just take the final performances. Pitch Perfect 1 broke tradition and did something new. Pitch Perfect 2 honored their legacy, and 3 was just, hey, come up on stage. Overall, it's quite an enjoyable series, and the Bellas bonding over the span of years just by being in a performing group is as accurate as it is in real life. They fight, they laugh, they have the weird ones in the group. The friendships felt authentic, and even when they moved on, some of those friendships remained intact. And when Stacy calls them to tell them she named her daughter Bella, it only reinforces how much of a family they had become. I'm only a year out of college, but some people I knew from college bands and even other groups are getting married. Some are having kids. Pitch Perfect doesn't even have to be perfect. But it puts a smile on my face. Makes me thankful that I had fun music groups to be a part of. And we still have that Pitch Perfect show to look forward to, and you can bet as soon as it comes out, I'm totally going to make a video on it. Please, dear Lord, be good like the first 2 films, not the third one. Until then, I guess we'll have to keep ourselves occupied. And you know, the third film didn't really do much, but it could have been worse. There could have been a worse Pitch Perfect movie. Oh god, there is. See you guys next week for my review of the worst parody film ever. While you wait for the bonus installment to my Pitch Perfect series to come out, you should consider leaving a comment telling me which Pitch Perfect movie was your favorite. And don't forget to like too. Oh, and subscribe and hit that notification bell. You don't want to miss out on any of my new videos. And also, I stream over at twitch.tv/mintbaribusiness. Come over if you want to hang out with me and say hi. And if you don't, there will be consequences.